Hello, everyone. Welcome to VWO's Ask Me Anything session. This is your host, Abhishek. This is where we answer all your queries about experimentation and optimization. These AMAs are really a great opportunity for you to interact with our VW experts and get any of your questions answered and get better at optimization. Today on our panel, we are joined by two VW experts, Harshita from our optimization team and Satyajit from our product team. Our panelists here will guide you to create the best experiences possible for your visitors. So let's dive in. Harshita, handing it over to you with the first question.
Thanks for the introduction, Abhishek. Hello, everyone, and welcome to VW webinars. The first question that we have received for today is, what is the best way to track and improve the bounce rate with VW? Now, there are two parts to this question. First one is the tracking, and the second one is improving the bounce rate. So to answer the first question of how do we track the bounce rate using VW, Abhishek, can you please share my screen?
Sure, Harshita.
Yeah. Is it visible?
Yeah.
All right, great. So VW standalone doesn't have a bounce rate matrix on its own by default, but integrating it with the analytical tools, we can gauge the performance of any of the campaign at the bounce rate level. So here, if you look at the campaign setting, it is a dummy campaign that I have created, and under the settings tab, we have others option where a dedicated section related to integrating the VW platform with third-party products is available. Now, considering that majority of our businesses are currently using Universal Analytics, so I'll give you an example by showing how can you integrate Universal Analytics VW to get the bounce rate. So the first step you need to follow for creating a custom dimension in order to integrate both the platform, because that is going to be our key value. And in this process, the first step is to click on the admin settings, and under which you'll be available with three options: account, property, and view. And in the property tab, you can clearly see that the option for creating a custom dimension is available. Clicking on the custom dimension, you can see on your screens that new custom dimension field is available. And also we need to keep in mind that the dimension that we are creating should be of user scope. That's the only way we'll be able to see the data related to all the campaigns that we are currently running, or in future we are planning to run in VW, available in the Google Analytics dashboard. Now, once you click on the new custom dimension, you can provide the name, you can choose the scope to be user, and then click on the create part. As I've already created these two dimensions and none of them are currently in use, so what I will do is I'll use this index, which is 1 in the VW dashboard. That's the second step. So once you enter your index number in the Universal Analytics panel, you'll be able to see option here for save. After saving these settings, and as soon as you go live with your campaign, data will start populating in the Google Analytics dashboard. So the next question comes up, how will you be able to see that data? Now it's a very easy step. All you have to do is create a segment, and in order to create a segment, you can choose any of the report of your choice and click on it, and the option for creating the segment is available on the top bar. Once you click on the add segment part, you have to click on new segment because it is going to be a custom dimension segment, and going on to the condition part, the option for creating the segment based on the VW custom dimension that we created earlier is available. So when you search for it, you'll be able to see VW dimension over here, and by default there will be data start populating in these panels. Currently there is no campaign that we are running, but I'll show you how the what is the pattern of the values that we get collected in the VW dimension looks like. So here, if you see, you'll have two variables. One is the campaign ID and other one is the variation name. So in the campaign ID field, you have to add the ID, which you can get from VW console. Clicking on the summary and going further down, you'll be able to see campaign ID over here. So now my campaign ID is 8, and all I have to do is change it to 8. And for variation, if it is control, you have to add control. If it is going to be variation 1, then variation 1. And if you have created a campaign with multiple campaigns, then you can use the suffix such as variation 2, variation 3, and so on and so forth. Once you click on create the segment and apply it on the reports, all the data within your reports will be populated, bifurcating it in the form of control data, variation data, and also the data for the users which are not part of the campaign. So this is the answer to the first question of how do we track bounce rate using VWO.
Sure.
All right, so the second part is about improvement. Now that you're able to track the bounce rate, it will be very easy for you to gauge the performance of the changes you've made in the variant from bounce rate standpoint. But first, let's discuss in brief what bounce rate actually is. So when a customer visits your site on any page and leaves without visiting any other page on the same domain, that's a bounce. So summing it up, your bounce rate is the percentage of all the users who enter and exit on the same page without any clicks to the other pages on your site. And for these users, the main reason for leaving the website is not finding what they are looking for. And there can be multiple factors that can help reduce the bounce rate, such as better retargeted users, analyzing the existing data set for user interaction and creating hypothesis, and then further doing the A/B testing. You can also run surveys to understand about the problem from the users directly. But today we are going to discuss how to address this problem via A/B testing, because that's what VWO is used for. So the improvement methods might differ from business to business, but one thumb rule to reduce bounce rate is to provide users with interactive features on the website. We need to understand and learn that a large pool of the users that are coming on our website are of skimming approach. And as websites, we need to grab their attention. Now, like going in detail and discussing what are the ways to improve the bounce rate on multiple businesses. First of all, let's take e-commerce business. So for an e-commerce business on the home page, having product offerings and USPs on the hero banner will lead them to inner pages. And as and when their traction increases with the inner page, it will definitely help solve the problem of high bounce rate. Second option can be, let's say, if we are having an ongoing sale, and the best part to highlight the flat pricing or the discounted product on the website is homepage banners. And for the same e-commerce business, on the product page, we need to add attractive product images or videos explaining product functionality. And maybe having add to cart as a bright color CTA in the first full should definitely reduce the bounce rate. So these are a couple of examples for the e-commerce businesses. Now, considering the e-commerce industry varies from multiple type of vendors and multiple type of products. So let's assume if you have a website that sells multi-category products, then in addition to having navigation bar with categories, we can also add featured categories in the homepage itself. This will help visitors look at other products as well, along with the product they intended to buy, which will actually serve two purposes. First, users may engage with the featured categories and end up buying more products, thus increasing the average order value. Or they may choose that having featured categories will leave a lasting impression on our website's offering, and in turn have us on a loyal returning visitor with low bounce rate. So these are the couple of ways by which you can help reduce the bounce rate on e-commerce website. Similarly, for a SaaS business, having a free trial CTA along with user testimonial in the first fold is a great way to build trust and acquire more leads. You would also want to share the case studies with the visitors, engaging them more with the content on the blog pages, which would not only reduce the bounce rate, but also give you qualified leads. Along with that, in a similar fashion for content generation businesses, it's very important to have readable fonts, great content, good formatting to prevent users exiting the site without interaction. Also, it's important to have themed articles on the pages for content generation businesses especially, and dedicated categories, maybe trending topics or something else. So you would need to keep updating your content and make sure that the blogs are eloquent in expression and readability. Now, in addition to these, like all the suggestions are based on multiple industries, one of the reasons for high bounce rate is slow loading websites. So we should also be keeping in mind that the page speed score and everything is line and intact, so that the users who are coming on the website, they don't bounce off. I hope this information helps. And Satya, would you like to add anything?
At the moment, not much I could think of. Perhaps, we could also mention that, if the user doesn't have analytics integrated. So it is actually possible to look at the entry page, run a campaign without any changes. Actually, an AA test. Just correct me if I'm wrong, Harshita. I'm just playing off the top of my mind here. So perhaps it's possible to create an AA test of sort. We do have a goal that tracks engagement, right? So perhaps we could introduce that goal there. So the non-converters of that goal is pretty much all of the bouncers that happen on the page, right? So we do have some campaign data for that situation, based on which we can perform some analysis. We can look at which source majorly is causing this issue, or stuff like that. That could give insights to perform more focused testing on specific visitor groups. So that was one thing I wanted to add up here.
Sure, I think that's a wonderful idea, running an AA test and then keeping engagement at the matrix. It'll actually give us the approximate understanding of where our bounce rate stands. So yeah.
Exactly. So exactly. So this is this works independently of other tools. It works within VW itself. So folks can give this a shot to make it work. This is something that could technically work. So yeah, that's about it. Shall we move on to the next one, Harshita?
Yeah, sure.
So let me take this one here. So this is a little bit different. The question is, how is the implementation of VW on the front end of the site? So usually we come across questions where people ask us how to use VW for something specific, but this is different, because here we're trying to explain how VW works. Important question nevertheless. So let's just jump in here. So first and foremost, VW's client side, the front end testing part of the whole testing aspect of things, it works on a JavaScript snippet. So we call it the VW Smart Code. So this JavaScript snippet needs to be installed on the body of the website. So this is what connects, I would say, connects the website front end to the VW server. So now why is this connection required? So how do you set up campaigns on your website with VW? You log into the app and you create an A/B test and you make it go live. So how is this creating a test, and how is this starting it, and how does all this happen? So VW's got an editor. There's a visual editor and the code editor. So majorly our use case comes from the visual editor, where users can load the website on the editor and perform modifications on it with a visual point of very visual point of view. They click on elements and they make modifications on top of it without a single line of code. So what this translates into is changes in the form of HTML or CSS on the page. So all of these modifications get stored as the configuration of the campaign. So people can make changes to colors, the text, loads of other things in the existing element, and they can even go on to add new elements and widgets on the page. So this visual editor works with a combination of vanilla JavaScript, AngularJS, and jQuery. So by this way, we make a note of we get a collection of changes that the user wants to do on the website, and we store it as a configuration of the campaign in the VW servers. So this is along with the other details of the campaign, such that things like where this campaign needs to run, which is the set of URLs where this will run, and other things like if there is any specific targeting condition, like this campaign is only for mobile visitors, or this campaign is only for people from a specific country, things like that. So we store all of that detail in the VW server. So now you get the point. So the smart code, ideally, it brings the settings of the campaign from the VW servers and applies it on the website if a visitor qualifies for the campaign, if they qualify for the targeting condition here. So this process where the campaign is brought from the server and is painted on the website, this is done purely with JavaScript. So what happens here is it is one of the smallest scripts to run with the smart code. So it does not really slow down the website as much as people would tend to think. We make sure that the payload size is as optimized as possible, and we continuously make sure that we can improve it further and make it smaller and smaller. And also, I would like to add that the latency is extremely low here, because we have one of the best distribution of nodes at a global level. So all of that put together translates to very negligible change in the loading speed of the website when a campaign is running. So when once the smart code brings in the this configuration, the decision is taken whether the campaign is to be shown for the visitor or not. Once the visitor comes to the website, we bring all the settings and we decide if the visitor should be shown the campaign. So this is based on the targeting condition that is set in the campaign on VW when the campaign is configured. After that, we need to, like, that could be multiple variations on the website that in the campaign. So that could be, the usual, the control which we measure against, and we have multiple variations. It could be, it could be tens or even hundreds in certain cases. So we have an internal algorithm which kind of decides which variation needs to be shown for that instance of the visitor. So this there are multiple ways by which we do it. There is a situation wherein the traffic split between the different variations got to be equal. So we decide based on that. Or there is another smarter modes that we're figuring out, which could allocate traffic based on better performing variations to reduce the loss that you could possibly have from showing equal traffic the variation that may not be performing well. So we have various ways by which we decide which variation needs to be shown to a specific visitor, and the script, once these things are decided, the script it paints that set of changes that has been loaded through the visual editor. It applies all of those changes on the website and then unhides the entire thing so that the visitor can see not the original website but the changed version of the website that the VW user has configured to be presented to the visitor. So this is how VW works on the front end of the website. A couple of quick pointers here. So just about a smart code. So that is where I believe many users could have a concern. So like I mentioned before, it is extremely light. It does not slow the website significantly compared to many other analytics tools or testing tools that are in the market. And additionally, it's extremely secure. We have a CSP compliant smart code. So what it does is, if absolutely necessary, we are ready to provide certain security headers to make sure that it runs in a very compliant manner. So that's the whole thing about it. I haven't gone into too much of technical details because I wasn't sure what angle the question was asked in, but if there are more doubts on this, more details are required, more technical information is required, anyone can reach out to our support team anytime. We are happy to help and give you a complete breakdown of what exactly happens in each situation. We're completely transparent about how things work, so we're ready to do that anytime. So that's that about this question. This is how VW is implemented on a website on the client side.
Great, Satya. Thank you for the comprehensive answer. Now I'll open questions for the forum. If anybody in our audience wants to pick our brains for any particular use case that they're facing, any particular experimentation idea that they want to create a deeper insight into or guidance into, this would be a great time to ask our experts about it and figure out the best possible way to sort of create a overall better experience for your visitors. Okay, it seems our audience is full with the current knowledge that we've already dropped. Catch you next time in the next session. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Harsh. Thank you, Satyadeep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.